all. Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. This video is going to be a little different. First of all, we're doing an update to the incident that I reported on Twitter about the horse that was abused on camera. And I love the way this story ends, so we're going to cover that. And then there's new stuff coming out about the bullying allegations. So for some of you who haven't been watching me for too long or unaware of what's happening, I basically go back to the beginning and give a run up to this. So stick with me on this, okay? And let's just jump in. Let's go. We're going to start off today with the woman that was abusing her horse. I don't know if any of you have seen this. I had it on Twitter. This woman, who is a primary school teacher, also rides horses competitively, apparently. And the following video was taken. Warning, this is hard to watch. Now, initially, nobody knew who this woman was, but they eventually found out who she was. She was put on blast. The animal protection group in the UK got involved. The primary school got involved. This woman started getting death threats, and so she went into hiding with her underage children. Well, it just came out that after an investigation, they fired this woman. And good riddance. I completely agree with what Dominic Dyer said. Good riddance. Anybody that would abuse an animal that way, and she's teaching children? Ugh, good riddance to her. And she should never be allowed to own another horse or another animal. You all should also know that the horse was found and checked out and found to be in good health and is now in good hands. All right, off this story, on to our big one for today. Our story today is about the bullying investigation that's been going on with the palace against Meghan Markle. So for those of you who haven't seen some of my older videos, let's just do a quick trip down memory lane so that we can catch up with where we are, okay? Starting here. As I reported in previous videos, it was stated that Harry and Meghan were driven out because William had a bullying attitude. That's what was being reported. And Meghan and Harry never came out and said that that was untrue. But they kind of forgot that they said the following. Watch this.
I imagine.
Yes, his family's been so welcoming and
You've met quite a few of them, actually.
I have, on both sides of his family, his mom's side as well, which has been really important to me too. But yes, the family has been great, and over the past year and a half, we've just had a really nice time getting to know them and progressively helping me feel a part of not just the institution, but also part of the family, which has been really, really special.
Trying to track them down.
And let's not forget these statements. Remember this?
What was it like introducing Meghan to your father and your brother?
William was longing to meet her, and so was Catherine. So, you know, being our neighbours, we managed to get that in quite a few times now. And Catherine's been absolutely
wonderful,
amazing, as is William as well. Fantastic support. And then my father as well. We had a couple of, no more than that.
We've had
a handful of teas and meetings and all sorts of gatherings over at his place as well. So. No, the family together have been absolutely, solid support.
The narrative changed from the family was supportive to we're victims. We were forced out. We had no choice but to go. Get it? Victimhood. Okay? Now, not long after that, the allegations of bullying by Meghan Markle came out. And of course, we already know that she had lost, 9-10 staff members? Nobody was lasting very long with them. And of course, everybody was shaking their heads going, what's happening here? And of course, we all then found out about the non-disclosure agreements. So a woman who's always talking about women should have their voice and they should be able to speak their truth, etc., has silenced all these women by non-disclosure agreements. They're not allowed to have their voice. It wasn't long after that Jason Knopf stepped forward with emails. Now, this is where things get really interesting. And we all know now, since court, of course, that Jason Knopf was the go-between between Harry and Meghan and Omid Scooby-Doo for the book Finding Freedom, but he wrote an email. Mr. Knopf wrote this email. He was, I think, a communications manager for Harry and Meghan, and he wrote it to somebody who is now a UK Parliament member. Mr. Knopf wrote this letter to HR, and he said he was concerned that Meghan was bullying people. She had bullied 2 PAs out of the house, and there was another person that she was treating in an unacceptable fashion, and that she always seemed intent on having someone in her sights. He stated in the report, or in his email, that they've had report after report after report of inappropriate behavior from Meghan. Harry was told about the complaints. Supposedly, he had a meeting with Mr. Knopf. He begged him not to pursue it, which I believe, because we already know now that Harry and Meghan are untrustworthy and they lie. That's already been proven in a court of law. So when the lawyers deny that any meeting took place and that any of this took place, they're not trustworthy. Remember, what have I told you guys before? Your credibility is all you have in this life. And the two of them have now been proven to be uncredible. Now, of course, as soon as the allegations came out, Harry and Meghan responded by saying that she's saddened by the attack on her character, that she's been bullied herself and she supports the pain of people who have been bullied, yet she did not revoke the NDAs on any of the women that she had bullied. So for those of you who might be interested, I did a video last December where Meghan was supposedly hazing people and bullying people at college. The title of that video is Meghan's Age and Was She Part of Hazing? So you can go back and look at that if you want. And that video points out something that we already know from her past, which is every time she's ever been in trouble, her dad has come to the rescue and everything's just been swept under the rug, and she's never really had to fix anything or, apologize for anything. And I think that's part of her problem. One of my followers from way back when, Viola, actually said that if you can't get along with your own family, your husband or your spouse's family, your spouse's closest childhood friends, their own employers, etc., that's usually a good indication that you're the problem. But in my opinion, since she's a narcissist, of course, she doesn't see it that way. Everybody else has the problem, not her. Now, at the time that this was all going on, there were some tweets put up that I found absolutely shocking. Here is the National Bullying Helpline, where people are supposed to go so that when you tell somebody you've been bullied, they're supposed to believe you. And what did this woman write? That it was unlikely that Meghan bullied the staff. They may have felt bullied because of her strength of character and her determination, but it doesn't mean that bullying occurred. If somebody tells you that they've been bullied, aren't you supposed to listen to the evidence before you make that determination? I was absolutely horrified by this particular tweet. And I'm telling you, this is someplace you should not go or reach out to if you think you're being bullied. So we all know that Meghan's been accused of harassing her employees in the UK, which is why they were literally dropping out once a month for like 9 months. She lost like 9 or 10 people, and I do not believe that includes the nannies that she fired. So I want to thank Mr. Knopf for being brave enough to step forward, because thanks to him, the bullying investigation has now been started. 10X aides are now queuing up to give their information. They're getting their voices back, and they're going to be able to tell about their treatment at the hands of Meghan while they were in the palace. Now, it should also be known that the second that these bullying investigation was announced, she immediately lawyered up. She demanded to see the text messages, the emails, and she wanted the names of the people who were going to be talking, probably to send them threatening letters, especially if they had signed a non-disclosure agreement. And you know what the palace gave her? Zippo. Very interesting. Meghan's attorneys tried to stop Mr. Knopf from handing over all those emails and all that evidence because she didn't want people to know really what a horrible boss she is. At one point, it was claimed that William was leaking all this stuff about the bullying, but of course, that was proven to be untrue. Now, Meghan's attorney came out, of course, and said, Meghan's not a bully. At one point, Meghan's attorney went on the BBC documentary and used a lot of word salad. She stated, Bullying is using improper use of power repeatedly and deliberately to hurt somebody. It seems like Meghan Markle's attorney is playing word games because now instead of saying there's no bullying, she said there was no intentional hurting of someone, which implies that she probably did hurt somebody, but she's going to claim it wasn't intentional. She pointed out that there was no evidence to prove that Harry and Meghan were not bullies because you can't prove a negative. But isn't that the same for the royal family? And even after lawyering up, Meghan was, in my opinion, very stupid and reached out to Mr. Knopf in the middle of that whole court case. And she had to be told by her attorney not to do that again. I mean, really? Now, I've played this video for you guys before, but I'm going to do it again. This is a very edited down version of one of the reporters and why they were able to come out with the story of the bullying. Listen to this.
There were a lot of stories over the years suggesting that Meghan was difficult to work with. There were reports of staff leaving, there were reports of staff in tears, and now these allegations have come forward. We know that actually there was substance to them. That these people who felt they were bullied, who left their jobs, are still in an emotionally fragile and fraught state today. People are in tears on a regular basis, as far as I can hear. You know, faced with the prospect of a difficult meeting with the Duchess, people said things like, "I feel sick, I'm shaking, it's ridiculous." 2.5 years ago, this advisor to the Duchess submitted these allegations in writing. They went to his boss, he passed them on to HR, and as far as we can tell, can't know for absolute certain, but as far as we can tell, nothing was done. It would be entirely wrong to characterise this as the War of the Windsors. This is not about Buckingham Palace as an institution fighting back against Harry and Meghan. Meghan's had it all her own way. She's portrayed herself as a victim. She wanted to portray herself as a victim from the start. She was always craving rejection so that she could say to Harry, "Listen, our life is unbearable here. And there's only one answer, and that's to leave the country and go and live in the United States."
So, the reason we're covering all of this is because now it's being reported that only a few people, a handful of people, have even been spoken to in this investigation. That's what's being reported. But I'm happy to report that according to Neil Sean, and he's usually got his finger on the pulse of things, that is more like a leak that was put out by some people in California, get my drift? And that everybody will be spoken to, and this is an ongoing investigation. I'm extremely hopeful that they're going to uncover all kinds of things. From what I was told, they're even looking into what happened in Australia. This ought to be good. And finally, I want to show you guys a small clip that was taken of Catherine and William during the ITV Christmas Carol special that was airing. And everybody's speculating about what was going on, but try to think of this. Try to think about William realizing that he's lost his brother. He's been, smeared in the media. His children are getting death threats, his father, all these things that are going on. And here it is Christmas time, and he realizes that he's lost his brother. And he looks up at Kate, and Kate just gives him that look, and he smiles back at her, and it's all going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? Watch this. And finally, it's been update time. So for those of you who are asking, no, I am not the one who dropped him off at the boarding facility. No, I am not the one who picked him up from the boarding facility. And it's only at night that he's behaving that way. During the day, he's fine. So here's a video that I took that just shows you what I'm talking about. Watch this. What is happening with you? You want me to pet your belly now? But you refuse to snuggle me at night. Why? Why? Do you have something you want to tell me? Do you have something you want to tell me? Good boy. Oh, sweet. Sweet, sweet. So, I really want your comments. You know how I love to read them. What do you think about the woman who beat up her horse? How terrible is that? And what do you think about the bullying investigation and how it's going? And what do you think is going to happen at the end of it? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be notified of future uploads. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Gab, you can email me. And for those who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys have a great day.